Good morning. Today's Tuesday, November 28th. I did a video, I think the last video was 3 weeks ago when we were still up in Santa Barbara. And we did head back down to San Diego. We had to take care of a lot of personal things. San Diego is where we were from. Our health care is still down here. Dental care, which is what we're doing now. My wife's at the dentist and I'm using this opportunity to once again make one of my little videos in my Jeep. Very comfortable sitting in here. Gosh, we've been traveling now for 65 days, more than 8 weeks, more than, almost a little over 2 months. And we're still at Santee Lakes. We had a beautiful space that we loved there. We rented for a month. Santee Lakes is part of Padre Dam Water District, and there's 7 lakes, and 2 of the lakes, Lake 6 and 7, are reserved for the campers. And then the first 5 lakes are for public use. And I have done some fishing there. I haven't gotten a bite. I don't know what's going on. I'm not seeing a lot of fish caught there, but they are stocking. The weather has been very warm here in San Diego, which is kind of weird. Not really good trout weather, but it has been cooling off at night. And so what we did is we decided to extend for 1 more month because my wife's family's here in San Diego and we've been visiting with them. She has sisters, parents, of course, and I've been doing some things over at their house, kind of helping them out a little bit. Stuff I enjoy doing, anything involving home work, stuff around a house. I've always enjoyed little home repairs and stuff, and I also enjoy, of course, building. I want to build another house at some point in the future, which is really the ultimate purpose of our traveling, is to find out where we want to live. We want to buy a nice big piece of property somewhere and build a really nice small custom home with some acreage. So yeah, other than we had about 8 different stops in the first 2 months, and then this stop now has been we've already been there for, gosh, close to a month. I guess we got there on November 1st. And is that right? Yeah, November 1st. And we're going to be at the lake until I think January 2nd. Or we might even be leaving that area on New Year's Eve. I can't remember the situation, but it's a very popular place to camp. San Diego is really expensive to RV. There's a couple places down on the bay, San Diego Bay. We went down and investigated some of those, and they're still kind of, even though they're super expensive, they're just too rowdy. I mean, it'd be a fun place to camp if you're in your 20s or 30s, and there's lots of people Friday, Saturday night driving around on their scooters and stuff, drinking. It looks like a lot of fun, but I'm kind of a little beyond that, and I don't like a lot of noise. I mean, I like to sit out in front of the motorhome and look at the internet, read. My wife and I both kind of like peace and quiet. We've had a few motorhome repairs. They're all normal stuff, mainly due to age. Our motorhome it's an Integra Anthem. It has, I think, a total of 10 windows. And with the massive front windshield, each window has a day shade and a night shade, and they're controlled by electric motors. So the front window has 2, the passenger side and driver's side. So there's a total 11 times 2. There's 22 electric motors that are mounted up in the shade, up in the ceiling. You don't see them. And the previous owner had told me that in 14 and 15 Anthems had a shade motor that was not the best, and a lot of people started experiencing some failures after about 5 years, and so he did replace a few of them. I don't know how many. I have all the paperwork and I have to go through that, but a couple of those have gone out. However, he was a really good guy, and he furnished me with 2 or 3 new motors, and they're not too expensive. They're probably $50-$60, and the new ones are bulletproof. And so I've been fiddling with that. He also provided me with a complete Magna shade kit that is a magnetically attached from the outside, a shade system for all the front windows, and you put it up with this rod. It makes it really easy, and what it does, it cuts down on the sunlight coming into the motorhome especially from the the front windshield is huge. I think the Integra Anthem, one of their little claims to fame is having one of the largest windshields in the RV industry, and it is massive. And when it's sunny out, you get a lot of solar heat gain comes through that window. And even when you have the solar shade down on that came with the motorhome that's on the inside, the heat still penetrates through the window and gets in there, and then eventually throughout the day it'll warm up the inside of the coach. Well, the Magna shade goes on the outside. It doesn't allow that sun to really penetrate, and what's really neat is you can see out of the shades, but people really can't see in during the day. It's really cool. And these custom shades are cut, and the welting and the manufacturing, they're made to fit each brand that you have, whether it's an Integra, a Tiffin, or whatever brand you have. These shades are manufactured to fit those windows perfectly, and they're connected with magnets. It's a really neat system. Kind of from an engineering background, it's one of the most well-designed things that I didn't buy it. The previous owner did. The whole kit's probably over, I think it's over $1,000. Plus it includes beautiful wheel covers for all 8 wheels. Or excuse me, 6 wheels that are exposed. The 2 rear inners are not covered, because they're behind the other wheel. And so you get, windshield wiper sleeves that cover those, because the windshield wipers on these big motorhomes, they're expensive. Those blades are probably $70-80 a piece, and the sun does wear them out. And so you get 2 windshield wiper covers, the all front window covers, beautiful covers for the big chrome mirrors to keep the pitting from the, especially if you're parked near the ocean, you'll get pitting in your chrome. And then the wheel covers. So I got all that installed. I'm very impressed. He did provide that. He purchased it, but never installed it. And really the installation is just mainly with some epoxy. You attach these magnets around the perimeter in the window, and you don't really see them. And then the shade attaches from the outside with magnets that are inside some little cloth sleeves that are hooked to this whole system. I'll attach a photo. Anybody that has a motorhome, I highly recommend it. I've had 2 people come up, that one guy in a country coach who I've made friends with. He's got a beautiful 2004 country coach, and he has a shade system that he just can't stand. And he saw me putting mine up, and he was very impressed. And he went back. I think he went back to his motorhome and ordered one for his rig. A lot of these things are really expensive. These motorhomes are not an investment. They do depreciate. There's a lot of things that can go wrong in them. My wife and I, when we start looking around at all the electronics, every light switch is a touch pad. You like from the master bedroom above the bed, you can control the security on the outside. You can turn on outside lights, turn on outside cameras. And these things do go, things do fail. And 4 TVs, DVRs, audio video equipment. A lot of this stuff, my wife doesn't really worry about little things like that, but me being the guy that takes care of all these things, typically, I start looking around thinking, man, how long is it going to be before these things start to fail and I'm really spending some money. I've had a few boats, never had a boat like this big motorhome, but a lot of people liken these big diesel pushers to owning a big sophisticated boat, like a big center console fishing boat or even a small yacht. I guess that, they call them land yachts. But, we don't have a home, and so, some of our income will, of course, be devoted to maintenance. I'm really proactive about maintenance, tire pressures, fluid levels, all that stuff. I'm constantly looking at all that. It's something that keeps me busy. So from this location we're at, we did extend a month. Like I said, we'll be there till the end of December. But unfortunately, the space we had, it was so popular at this lake because it includes a huge piece of grass that's on the side, and I'll include a couple photos. It's one of the #1 spaces in the park, and it's requested. It's right next to the pool. It's near the big bathrooms. It's got a big gazebo with a huge concrete picnic table. In fact, the other day my wife's mother came over and visited, and they sat out there for a couple hours and yacked, which was really nice. And so anyway, we're moving on I wanted to extend and stay in that space, but somebody who books that space every year, we didn't know this, but they book it every year, and they booked it for 2 months. So when I went to the office to extend, the lady kind of chuckled and said, it was a fluke that you got the space to start with. Personally, I think it may have had something to do with some of the people I know at Padre Dam, but anyway, that's a whole nother story. We are moving into another space that's across the way, and it's also a nice space, totally different environment. It's got a lot of different weird shade eucalyptus shade trees. It's really shady in that spot, which would be nice in the summer. The one we're in now is pretty sunny, and it's now getting cold at night and kind of cool during the day. And so, we try to use the angle of the sun, and I figured all this out. It didn't take me long. You go to these RV parks, I quickly look when they give me a space. I always tell them I want to go look at it. Before I park, I leave the rig in the staging area, and I quickly run over. My wife and I, she usually sits in the motorhome, takes care of our cats or whatever, and I'll run over and I'll look at the space. I know which way the sun goes and figure out, hey, do I want the whole, like driver's side of my motorhome in the direct sun or whatever. I try to get a space that maximizes the sun, the heating and cooling. And I don't want to be in a motorhome constantly running my air and running my heaters. The motorhome has multiple ways to heat. It has in-floor heating, aqua hot heating. I have 3 heat pumps on the roof. And so, we're trying to figure out what works for us and what doesn't. Of course, like most couples, my wife and I's temperatures are completely different. Sometimes she wants it cooler and I want it warmer, and vice versa. But anyway, so this space we're going to is a real shady space, and now in that area, our motorhome, the front of it faces east, and the rear, so the sun will come up over the whole length of it, whereas now it's coming up over the top, perpendicular. So, and the other thing that's neat is the motorhome has 45 feet of awnings. It's got 2 huge awnings that we just really started using, and they're so big. In the space we're in, I just pull my Jeep up under the awning in the backside, and it's like my Jeep is in a garage. It's almost hilarious. I've had people walk by and go, "Wow, that's pretty cool," and because other people, by the way, we're in the long-term area, so a lot of the people that are walking around that we've gotten to know, some of them stay there for 3-4 months, and I think the park will allow up to 6 months, but by law in Santee, you have to leave for 2 weeks. I don't want to stay anywhere for 6 months. If I'm going to do that, I'm just going to go back into a house. So we want to see some more stuff, and we kind of feel funny that we've been up and down the West Coast, and a lot of the places we've already visited, we've been to before. And so we really don't feel like we've truly started our RV adventure. I still don't really feel like I've retired. We both retired. We went and settled my parents' affairs. Then after that, we were so stressed out. That's when we decided to rent a home and swim for 6 months, Swim Washington, which I absolutely loved, and we're starting to miss that place. I'm starting to think that may be a place where we end up building a home, but we'll see. Anyway, and then of course now we're on our adventure, but we came back down the Oregon coast through Washington, Oregon, and California. And so it won't be till we head east towards where my brother lives, which I've been to Arizona before too, that we start getting to experience, some new things. And, we want to get out and start using our electric bikes more. I'm seriously looking into hold on. Hey, I'm back. Yesterday when I was making that recording, my wife had come back from the dentist. Anyway, I wanted to finish this up. Today's the 30th of November. And like I said, we are at Santee Lakes. We're going to be here until New Year's Day, and then we're moving to Palm Springs area. We rented a nice place there for another month. we're just trying to take it easy. We want to, go to some place, stay for about a month, see what's, what there is to do there. I haven't been to Palm Springs in years, and so we're going to stay there for a month. It's at a really nice place. I guess it's a 55 and up community, which is neat. There's not going to be a bunch of kids around. And there's areas right outside this park. I think it's in the actual communities called Desert's Edge. And I'll be able to go shooting out there, which is something I really love doing. I used to be an avid shooter, like going shooting. Haven't been able to do that in years. And I'm going to be able to pack some of my guns in my Jeep and head out in the desert and go do a little plinking. Something I want to do. Anyhow, and right now I'm just sitting here waiting for my wife. She's at a roller skating rink here in San Diego, one of the few left, because the cost of land and overhead is so high. These roller skating rinks are dropping like flies all around the country. They just cost too much to maintain, to heat and cool. And we go I take her here every Tuesday, and sometimes Tuesday and Thursday, and usually I go run errands. I'll hit Trader Joe's, pick up some of the neat things that we like. It's in an area of San Diego that's very centrally located, so we're able to go do a whole bunch of shopping. And I usually wait and take care of a bunch of personal things like banking and stuff that I have to do, and then she gets her roller skating kicks, which is good. In fact, that's another criteria. That's one of the other things that we want to do, or she wants to do, is to hit a bunch of roller rinks all over the U.S. She's got a whole list of big skating rinks. Some of the most historic ones are on the East Coast, like Guptill's up in Latham, New York. We've been to the Oaks, which is in Portland, many times. That's a historical place, over 100 years old. I'm not into roller skating. I have no interest in having wheels strapped to my feet. Anyway, I'll make another video when we get to Palm Desert. Thanks, and have a good day. Just caught this beautiful catfish on power bait of all things.